all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle. Chapter 39. Chen Tian raised his head to look at the camera in the corner and said in a deep voice. He had an acquaintance with the Riddler, a being who considered himself highly intelligent and felt that his intelligence was unique in the world. That's why he uses clues to guide his captors. He wanted the world to see his wisdom, show it to the world, and gain a sense of superiority. It has to be said, only a madman in Gotham would do such a thing. With the intelligence of a Riddler, going to work is definitely a successful career, but he did not do it. See this scene. The owner of the weird sound behind the stereo suddenly lacked interest, and gradually stopped laughing. It seems that he originally thought that people's hearts could be controlled and tricked by himself. As a result, Chen Tian's reaction gave him a resounding slap in the face. HMPH, interesting, since you are waiting for my riddle, then come. He snorted coldly, and finally began to give his own puzzle. I'm not a murderous butcher in the dark, I'm not a bat flying in the sky. I can swim in the moonlit lake without getting wet. What am I? Hearing this puzzle, everyone present suddenly looked dazed. You have 60 seconds to answer that question. If you answer incorrectly or no one answers, hee. At this time, the strange voice coming from the stereo added. Damn it, what is this weird problem? Why did I end up like this at this time? Being decided by an inexplicable question about my life or death? Why, fack. Interfield. Harvey Dent was extremely anxious after hearing the question, and he racked his brain and couldn't think of what the mystery of the problem was, so he directly cursed with a red face. Before Gordon's group entered the hall, he was proud to be the new mayor of the future. As a result, as soon as the lights went out, they were prisoners whose life and death were completely controlled by others. But in a second, it experienced unbearable ups and downs. Harvey Dent only felt an unleashable suffocation in his chest, blocking him almost crazy. The younger sister Jessica next to him was even more shivering because of the situation in front of her, her brain blank curled up on the ground. Damn it, another quirky puzzle, quote. And Gordon also looked solemn. I'm not a murderous butcher in the dark, I'm not a bat flying in the sky. I can swim in the moonlit lake without getting wet. What am I? Bruce froze in place, repeating the question in his mind. While he and Gordon were thinking, they both subconsciously turned their eyes to Chen Tian, hoping that this teenager who had solved the puzzle could surprise them again. But for some reason, Chen Tian didn't seem to be thinking about the answer to the question, but instead squinted his eyes with a smile at the corner of his mouth. Turning his head and not knowing what he was looking for. Tick, tick, time passed by minute, and the ticking of clocks on the wall echoed in my ears. 20 seconds left. I hope you guys can hurry. A prompt sounded on the stereo. Everyone present who was already extremely nervous, hearing these words, their bodies suddenly tightened, and they only felt that an invisible big hand tightly pinched their hearts at this moment. And their bodies were instantly cold. The people behind the sound seemed to enjoy the feeling of stirring other people's minds with a few words. The countdown begins with a brisk tone. 20, 19, 18. A countdown sound fell into the ears of those present, as if turning into a heavy hammer, and every time it was counted, a heavy hammer fell into the atrium. And the body and all the nerves trembled violently. Are we really all going to die here tonight? A strong sense of despair filled the audience in an instant. 12, 11. In the stereo, the sound of the countdown to riddles becomes more and more proud. Shadow. The mystery of your ridiculous puzzle is a shadow. Just when everyone thought that the problem could not be solved, Chen Tian spoke lightly. Quote. The triumphant countdown came to an abrupt end. Chen Tian did it. Bruce and Gordon secretly breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this. 10, 9. Just when everyone thought that everything could be over, the Riddler actually began to count down again. Damn guys, you don't talk about credit. Brewston was furious, throwing his head around and roaring. He's going to detonate anyway, it's just a game for this guy. Chen Tian's eyes were indifferent and he spoke. You guys have 6 seconds left. 5 seconds. Chen Tian's volume was not high, but the Riddler seemed to be able to hear his words, and continued to count down with a sneer. And everyone in the room fell into madness. Angry curses, roars, and collapse howls burst out at the same time in an instant, sweeping the entire hall. Everyone is praying and desperate. You may be useful against ordinary people, but for me. At this time, a contemptuous smile appeared at the corner of Chen Tian's mouth. Your location has been exposed. Quote. The voice just fell. An invisible spiritual fluctuation burst out from his body, instantly covering the nearby area, easily locking onto a figure hiding in a dimly lit room. The place is in the building opposite. And after hearing Chen Tian's words, the figure was obviously slightly stunned, and then said disdainfully, you'd better escape before the countdown. I swear, 20,000 words updated within 24 hours, if I don't do it, I will throw myself on the street for the rest of my life. Chapter 48. The Riddler who doesn't keep his promises. The murderer who committed suicide by jumping off the building. Dimly lit room. Edward the Riddler. Nigma sat in front of the computer, his feverish eyes reflecting the picture on the screen, and every desperate and distorted face in the exhibition hall was seen by him. You guys have the last 3 seconds, He enjoyed the feeling that the Gotham big men were easily dominated by their mood just because of a few words of their own, and his tone continued to count down lightly. In the exhibition hall, everyone was terrified of this. Damn it, I shouldn't die here. Some of them had already begun to frantically hit the surrounding walls like beasts, but unfortunately to no avail in any way. The thick walls seemed to be as distant as the distance between heaven and hell, and they did not shake in the slightest. More people had completely given up their struggles at this time, staring blankly at the huge red question mark on the wall, their faces trembling and tears flowing. Is that the end of it? Harvey Dent felt as if he had become a puppet, controlled by an invisible big hand, holding his sister Jessica curled up in a corner and slumped on the ground. His heart was like death. Boom. Boom. Abominable. How the hell did that guy do all this now? Quote. Bruce and Gordon begin to try to knock open the door as soon as the Riddler continues to count down without keeping his promises, but unfortunately the door is firmly locked and untouched.